Begin transmission.
This program is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Bill. This is Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures, and this is the Sunday Hangout. Glad you are here. We got a special guest with us tonight. I will bring him up. It's Neil from Yesterland Toys. Got my co-host Joneser here with me, and we're going to get started here in just a second, but I want to catch up with the chat, see who all's here real quick first. Of course, Bjorn Jorgensen, always the number one guy, gets in here before anybody else, unless Johnny Sorensen beats him. Now, we're not doing Smedulok anymore, okay? So we're doing Spattledonkel, okay, whatever that is. All right, good to see you, Bjorn. Glad you could join us, man. Shaitan's Hammer, number one fan here. He's here with us. Hello, he says. Adam over at Radical Toys has joined us. Good to see you, Adam. And of course, I have the link up here to Yesterland Toys. I want everyone to go over, if you're not subscribed to him, and subscribe to him today as soon as the show's over with, and check out some of his content. I checked it out this morning. This guy is pretty sharp, and that's why he's on the show today. And looks like Joneser just did that. Good for you, Joneser. And Johnny Sorensen's here. He says, is this where the toys are at? I got to get my fix. And Radical Mom with us today. Hey, Miss Mary, good to see you. And Daniel Carhoonen, our international traveler, is here with us. Good to see you, Daniel. Manic Plastic Toys, my friend Mike over there is with us today. Check out his webpage, man. He's got some toys for sale over there. Check it out. Bjorn says yesterday was tiring. Okay, well, you'll have to tell us about it in the chat, man. And now, without further ado, let's bring in Motu Joneser.
What's up, everybody? It's Joneser, your favorite comic book guy. So let's do this!
Long time no see, Bill.
You've been doing all right. It seemed like we just met each other.
Yeah. I lost your sound for a second there, or maybe it was just on my end. I don't know.
No, it's my end. I'm having a little latency issues with my my setup here. My web browser is kind of getting a little bit of latency in it. I may have to shut this toy cam down for a minute. That might help.
Well, I really enjoyed last night with Largo popping in. That was really cool.
That was quite a surprise that Largo came in. I just sent him the link. Just thinking, man, maybe he'll come in and brighten things up for us.
Sure. No, it's always good to talk to Jim. It's awesome.
And what did you say here in the chat? You said if you need vintage pieces, Manic Plastic Toy Shop is the guy. If you're looking for bits and bobs to complete something, he's got the bits and bobs.
Well, and I wanted to say he's very decent with prices too. Like I bought a few pieces from him for my vintage set behind me. I got the Extendar and the Squeeze and Clamp Champ, and I got a few pieces from him that I've been looking for. So and he was very decent with price, quick to ship. I can't shout this guy out enough. If you're on the hunt looking for little pieces and trying to scramble a collection together. This guy's as good as it gets.
And we got Christina. Good to see you, my dear. Glad you decided to come in. She says, good afternoon, everyone. And what's Mike saying here? He says, yeah, I just finished a late night show. It was great. Yeah, last night's show was pretty fucking awesome. We went over. I usually try to keep it on 2 hours, but we decided that we were going to do member berries and babbling, and we babbled for 2.5 hours. I mean, it was epic.
Right.
We got our special guest waiting patiently down there, so I want to bring him on in, and let's all say hello to. Did I get him up there? Hold on.
Technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Yes, technical difficulties because Bill's an idiot.
He is not an idiot. He's doing his best.
Yeah, and sometimes his best isn't good enough sometimes, right? So
we get by.
Hang in there, folks. I want to do him. I want to do him upright. So let me do my deal here. All right, here we go. This won't take but a second. In the meantime, we can babble just a little bit further there, Joneser. You got any new comics that you picked up lately?
There's a lady I work with, and she had a pile of comics from her ma's, and they're all from the late 70s, early 80s. They're kind of rough shape, a lot of Archies, a lot of cartoony stuff, but it had a couple treasures in there. We've got the first appearance of the Kool-Aid Man, so pretty cool.
I used to have that issue. That is a pretty cool issue, in my opinion.
We got the first appearance of the Smurfs.
All right.
This is pretty cool. And then thought of you when I saw these, Bill. They had a couple Popeyes in there.
Ooh. All right. Who did the art on those? Did Second Door do the art?
I'm going to have to look quick here. These are all pretty rough shape. They need bags and boards, and they got dog-eared corners, and it doesn't look like they say.
Yeah, they were bad about not crediting artists back in those days. Well, let's go ahead and bring Yesterland Toys in, Neil, and we'll check out more comics once we get him in here because he's being very patient down there.
Yes, sir. Let's get him in.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's going on, man? It's good to see you. Good to meet you. We had a little bit of a chat right before the show, but tell us a little bit about your channel there, Neil, and how you got started.
Well, I've been a toy collector for several years. Just probably within the last, 5 years, I've really got back into collecting. And I think what probably spiked it was when I knew Hasbro was coming, Hasbro was coming out with their retro collection, 3 3/4 inch Star Wars stuff. Now I know there's a love-hate for that stuff, but for me personally, that's what kind of re-sparked it again. I've always collected off and on, but that really sparked it again for me. So I started collecting from there, and then from there it just kind of branched off. I knew they were coming out with the Mattel was coming out with the Masters of the Universe Origin stuff, so I started collecting that. And then that just took me down the rabbit hole of going, well, why start with the modern? Let's go back and start filling the collection with the old vintage stuff. So I went down that hole. So I've always been a big collector, but I've just really started hitting it hard again the last couple years. Started my channel in 2022, kind of early part of the year, and just kind of said, you know what? I love talking toys. I love being with like-minded people and discussing toys, just seeing all the other different content creators out there and just being inspired by it. And I thought, I would like to do that too, or give it a shot. So I jumped on and said, you know what, the hell with it. I'm going to give it a shot. So I did, and it's kind of taken off. I'm still very small, but I'm learning as we go. Every video is a new trial and error of things to practice with and do. And I've kind of got a template and a format that I like to follow. So yeah, just having a great time with it, man.
Yeah, I was looking through your channel and I was thinking, man, this guy's got some pretty damn good production values going on here. So you got that nailed. It looks like you got your thumbnail game going on. I mean, you've really come in much better than I did. I mean, I kind of came in and made an idiot of myself the first time I tried to live stream. I mean, I'd already been doing a few videos here or there. But when I tried to live stream, I felt like an idiot.
It took me many nights staying up late watching YouTube videos on how to make thumbnails. And I know for some people it comes natural, like my son, you know, he's a whiz at it. We kind of started this adventure together. I was going to be the content creator. He was going to do the editing and all that. And he showed me some basics, but he's a kid. I get it. You know, he wants to do his thing. So he helps out when he can, off and on, here and there. But for the most part, he's taught me a lot of it. And then just watching YouTube, like everybody else does, goes to the University of YouTube, right? To learn. So that's kind of how I got into it. I'm still, you know, mesmerized by when I think I'm just starting to learn something. There's a new trend or a new way or a different, you know, technique to do to, you know, kind of mess up the algorithm in a sense to get people to follow your channel and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I think the best thing is just getting to work with folks like yourself and like-minded content creators and just people that love toys, right, man? Just love this stuff.
That's it right there. As long as you're networking and you're putting content out there, the people are going to come. They may not come as quickly as you want them to, but they will get there eventually. There you go, Jones. I was wondering if your cam went down. I saw the little cat wiggling its tail.
My son called me. I had to take that call.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, that's right. You're still using your main phone for your cam, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. eBay. Go over there and buy you an iPhone 6s. They're pretty cheap. Let's see. What's Shaitan saying here? He says Bill's adaptation of the Golden Books videos is how I found him and the Christmas special. Yeah. When I did a video. Well, here we go. Jones has heard this story a million times. What did this channel start out as? Well, I had a blog. I still do. It's still over there. We're the Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures blog over on blogspot.com. And I wanted a place to put some videos so that I could add the videos into the blog itself. So that's why the YouTube channel was created. Now, before it was Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures, it was Bill's Sea Monkeys Adventures and our sea monkey experiments. And I was doing sea monkeys. Basically, I had created a colony of sea monkeys in a tank, and I was doing day-by-day exploration of them growing and playing and all that kind of stuff. And that kind of led to me doing comic book talking about comic book old vintage comic book ads. And then, of course, I've always been a toy collector. The toys kind of crept in there. And then the toys said, okay, we're taking over, y'all. You know, and sea monkeys are toys too, I guess you could say. So it kind of went from there. And that I think I started that back in 2013. And it floundered. It just sat there. I really wasn't trying. But then when the Motu Origin stuff came out, that's when I hit the stores. And I'm like, okay. As much as I have tried to stay away from this stuff, and you know, I just finished getting all the figures for my vintage Superpowers collection, and my wife was like, "Don't start something up again." And I'm like, "Well, I can't help it." And so my goal, I think, same thing you were going to do there, Jones. Or I was just going to get the original 8, right?
Yep.
It don't work like that, Jack.
No, it never does.
As you can tell.
Yeah.
I love your display, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So I made a video showcasing the Origins figures that I had and some of the customs of them that I had done. And damn if the thing didn't go viral. And and then of course, this is around coof time, and everybody was locked in their house and they had nothing to do, and I'm watching YouTube, and I ran across Grindhead Jim. And if you haven't watched Grindhead Jim, please do. This guy is he's from the heart. Everything he's doing is from his heart. He loves the community. He loves his community that he has built. And everything that he does is squarely for them. And he touched me, and became a really good friend of mine. And so I decided, okay, all these people are live streaming, and I probably need to do the same thing. So I went out and put on my first clown show. It's still up there. You can watch me make a fool out of myself on that. I do every once in a while just to remember where I came from. But and that's how it all started. And of course, I've had a lot of people here that have been with me since day one, such as pop actor Rick here. Bill, I'm at the gym getting my Rocky 3 body. Good luck with that, man. Pixar, it didn't happen, dude. And Radical Toy says, do a magic trick. It's been a while. But here's the thing about magic tricks. If you ever played D&D, the spellcaster has to prepare his spell beforehand, and he has to learn it. And then once he does it, he has to go learn it again. Well, it's the same way with the stage magic, Jack. I can't just reach in the box and pull out a trick and do it. I have to practice it a little bit. And my old hands are not what they used to be. They're getting beat up at work with this job that I've got. So if you want a magic trick, I might be able to show like something from back in the day. But also, and I know I'm kind of talking over everybody here. I have a Patreon, and I've taken magic off of the channel and moved it to the Patreon because the algorithm doesn't know what to do with it when I do magic on here, and it doesn't go and nobody watches it. So I figured that I would give that as a special to my Patreon. So if you want to join the Patreon and see magic, that's where to go. Back to Neil. So when you started back collecting again, were you trying to get the stuff that you had as a kid? I know you're an inbox collector, but do you collect anything loose or out of box?
Yeah, I actually have quite a bit of out of box, believe it or not. Unfortunately, it's not really behind me. Some of it is kind of off to the side. I mean, I know you can't see it, but I collect a lot of classifieds out of box. I collect Action Force as well. It's out of box. And I have, my original 12 Star Wars loose figures that I have up on my side of my display over here off to the side out of camera view. But yeah, I mean, I would love to ultimately be able to go back and get more of the vintage collection stuff from our childhood and have it. Obviously, we know there's a different price point on it versus modern stuff today. Modern's easier to get, modern's easier to review, if you will, or displays, because you got the boxes, right? You got the bubbles, you got the cards and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I do have quite a bit out of box or package, but the majority of my stuff that I have, like you see in my background or in my video reviews, obviously I do review a lot of modern and keep it on card, especially with my Motu stuff. And I get a lot of inquiries about it, if you will, or I get a lot of messages where people are asking me like, it's just wasting away inside that packaging. And I see that point of view. I totally get it. I understand where those collectors are coming from. Get it out, play with it, display it. But for me, as much as it is collecting and taking me back to those times that I remember as a kid, it's also now in a way for me as an adult, it's like it's modern art, if you will, but within the toy collecting realm of things, right? Like I love coming into my office / studio and looking at just all the different graphic artwork and stuff like that. So it's art in a sense, right? So it's kind of a love-hate, man. I want to take it out. There's days, man, where I'm like, man, I just can't. I would love to, pull it out. And I do possibly have something planned way down the line, but for now, it's just a wall of art.
Well, and here's the thing. There's no right way or wrong way to collect this stuff. If you like it on card, then that's you. You do
Right.
you, like there are certain things that are conducive to coming out and going back in. I don't know if you see the Masterverse stuff I got on the pegboard,
Yeah.
but those are like tailor-made to come out of the card and then slide back into the bubbles and
Right.
go back in the box. And so that you can get both with that. With
Right.
Origins, you can't do that. Once you remove it from that
Fun.
card, you either got to glue it back on, or I mean, it's just it's not removable in that sense,
Right.
And then once you've broken the card, if you're ever going to sell it, you've lost the value on it, just like buying a new car on the lot.
Sure.
Comic books are the same way too. There's people who read them, and there's people who collect them. There's people who grade them and display them, and I always tell people that there's no wrong way to do this. There's always a bunch of people in this community, and unfortunately there's a negative side to anything, and there's going to be people telling you you're not enjoying your life right.
I know. I think that's what's more. I think that kind of makes me, like yesterday I was going back through some comments, and I was sitting there reading them going, if this is what you do all day, right? And you watch videos and you go out and this makes you feel better, then so be it. But from my perspective, it's like, just move on, right? I mean, I get it. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Everybody, I get that. And I'm never going to say someone needs to not have an opinion, but it's so surprising, the hate mail, if you will,
Right.
just because it's in package, And
I've been
people go
troll before on this channel. I mean, I did a kind of tongue in cheek, $1 rant stream, when $1 came out and sold out immediately in like 3 seconds or whatever it was.
Right.
And then that brought out the trolls. And then I did the Eternia rant stream when the Eternia thing came out, and I'm like, how much it costs and all that, and I don't have room for it. I don't afford it. I'm not going to buy it and all that. And they're like, oh, if you got a job, you can afford it. You don't even need to be collecting toys, and that kind of crap. And you know what? The thing I learned from that is what you do is you go into the comment section and you like and heart every one of the comments that are in there, no matter whether they're from one of those trolls or whether they're from anybody else. You just like and heart them and move on.
That's it.
I've seen like Adam at Radical Toys. One guy, I can't remember what it was, that he said something nasty to him, and Adam was just like, "Thanks for commenting." I was like, "That's genius."
Yeah, it doesn't matter to the algorithm because you're getting interaction.
That's right.
So, you can like it or you can dislike it. I don't care because it's both interaction with my video.
That's exactly how I look at it as well. When they do that, when they give me that thumbs down, I'm like, all you're doing is helping me out at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So you can hate it, you can love it. I don't care.
It's interaction.
Right.
You've actually had people thumbs down your video, like that's petty to me.
I've had a couple. Sure. I've had a couple.
I guess I haven't looked. I'm sure that it must.
Well, I'll tell you something else, Jones. The thing is, I've noticed it depends upon how much interaction your video gets, or short. I've experimented with shorts. The shorts get more thumbs down than the videos.
Yeah, I did. I guess now that you say shorts, I did notice I had some people disliking a few shorts.
I think that there's a whole community of people who don't have any life whatsoever, and they don't like anything, and all they do is go through YouTube disliking everything that they see because none of it.
Player haters club.
Oh yeah,
I hate everything and I hate you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adam, I always say thanks for watching.
He does. I learned something from that, because I was like, I'm one of those people who's kind of defensive of your friends, and like when someone says something about Adam, I was like, I'm going to take to this comment section.
No, don't feed them. Don't feed them, man. That's what they want you to do.
Don't feed the troll, but Adam handled it so much better than I would have anyway, so.
And Boba Hicks saying that you and Yesterland have great channels.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
And like I said, I just wanted to get you on, Neil, to kind of pick your brain and see what all you collect. Now you're not collecting just Masters of the Universe. You're like into GI Joe, Transformers. I mean, tell us a little bit about what you're actually collecting.
Yeah, so I'm my heart lies definitely with Motu. I've always been a Motu fan. I mean, just obviously that goes back to the childhood. Remember seeing the cartoon for the first time, and then seeing the toys hit the shelves the way they used to look right inside Toys R Us or the old toy stores. And then I was very fortunate where I was living at that time when this was coming out, and I was pretty much raised there. So we were very, very close to the Los Angeles market. So we got to see a lot of show production type advertisement. We were close to Universal Studios. I remember the holiday, Universal Studios month or whatever it was when the figures came out. Then obviously the toy show, or the like the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe on Ice show and stuff like that, where they traveled around the country. So I was very fortunate as a kid to really be able to have a lot of Motu connection. Now I didn't go to all those shows, but we did have a lot of premieres and stuff in the general area. But I've also always been a Star Wars fan, right? Just like everybody else. I know there's a bazillion Star Wars fans out there, and I know there's people that new, old, whatever it may be, what suits their fancy. But for me, I mean, I can remember when I became a Star Wars fan, and I remember when I got my hand-me-down toys from my brother.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in 76, so obviously by 77, I'm too young to understand it. But by the early 80s, right, I'm starting to play with Empire Strikes Back stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I got my brother's Star Wars hand-me-down figures. But for me to see the movie for the first time, I was hooked right then and there. And I can actually say that is probably, as a kid, and probably 1980, 1981, that is when collecting started for me. At that age, 5 years old, whatever, 5, 6 years old. Because I remember it wasn't a matter of wanting to play with the toys, but it was a matter of getting as much as I could, because I wanted everything and all things Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And some of those pieces are with me still today. So obviously, a lot of them are gone, but Star Wars was also a big influence. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. I'm slowly building that stuff back. I kind of got a love and hate relationship with Hasbro's G.I. Joe classified stuff.
Right.
I liked it in the beginning, kinda. I didn't like the Series 1 stuff, but as they progressed, I started liking it and really getting into it. And then all of a sudden, I lost touch with it. I didn't really have a fascination to collect it anymore. But then just recently, probably within the last year, I got sparked again and I went back into it. So I'm going back, and getting some not Series 1 stuff. Really, I have some pieces in it, but I've actually moved forward in the collecting realm of things. And to my surprise, and probably y'all, classifieds is actually Hasbro's, I think, finally for once kind of listening to the fans, because the last couple waves of stuff they've put out is actually not bad. I mean, they're on the road. If they stay this way, they're on the road to possibly some good recovery here.
Right.
But I'm also standing in the cautious zone of, well, let's see. I don't want to give them too much credit yet, because there's a good chance they're going to come back and screw us, and we're going to start getting crappy stuff again. So, but yeah, that, and then obviously I'm a big Action Force a collector. I love what Bobby Vala's doing over at Valaverse and the Action Force line. I fell in love with that line as soon as I, spotted it. But I can remember going back to the Palatoy days, right? I remember I had a buddy of mine. He had a lot of Palatoy Action Man and Action Force. And it was just so mesmerizing as a kid to see something seemed like a whole other world, right, here in the United States. But it wasn't G.I. Joe. And so when I heard he had gotten that IP, I was like, oh man, I'm in on it right there, because I could only imagine what he's going to do with it. So
And while I don't collect that, I have a very good friend of mine, Jim Largo, who does, and he and Wilhelm are over there doing the AF3, exploring the lore of that. And that, to me, is more fascinating than actually collecting the figures, is watching those guys talk about the lore. And,
Right.
and I like to do that.
You know, and I'm not trying, I mean, I don't know Bobby personally by any means. Obviously, you know, when I do a review, I tag him in it. So I don't know if he's watching my stuff, but
you never know.
You never know what he's doing for that line, I think, and how he's marketing it, merchandising it, getting it to the fans and some of the smaller collecting, you know, venues across the United States. I think he's doing what the original guys were doing back in the 80s, right? Mattel, Kenner, all them, when they were up in, I know by the time the 80s came around, Kenner, Mattel were very well established, but the way they marketed back then, the way they enticed the fans and the way they got out and they promoted their line, where we see it now, obviously, with classifieds and things like that when they do their Hasbro Pulse panels and things like that. It's different. I get it. They've gone the digital way. But I really like how Bobby's really getting it out to the fans and how he's giving back ultimately to the fans at the end of the day. I think that's just a great formula, and hopefully he stays with it, and I think he will. I think he'll stay with that formula.
Well, you know, one of the things that Bobby has said in the past was, you know, he worked for them over there on
Right.
and on the G.I. Joe line, and he's like, yeah, I told them what they needed to do, and they wouldn't listen to me. But now I got my own company. I'm going to show them how it's done, and
Right.
that's what he's doing over there. And the weapons packs, I mean, you can buy weapons, and they come in these little foot lockers and stuff that you can keep them in, and figures. He's constantly coming out with new stuff. I think he just introduced something here at PowerCon. Speaking of which, that just happened. Everybody went to PowerCon in Oz. I heard that that your bus didn't come in and that you have to wait until 5 a.m. to go home, man. If anybody out there is at PowerCon and you can go down to the freaking bus terminal and get Oz and bring him to your hotel room and put his ass up for the night, please do. Don't make the man sit in the nasty ass bus terminal all night long with the bums and the people trying to sell him crack and all that crap. Get him somewhere safe, man. Anyway.
Sure.
Sorry about that. It just came to my mind. Let's see. Shaitan's Hammer saying here, I have a whole rant about how modern Transformers are needlessly complex. That's all part of Transformers, is it not? That they're needlessly complex.
I wasn't a big Transformers guy, if I'm being honest. If I could put it together from the one form to the next on the few that I messed with, I was happy.
Same here. Transformers were pretty, for us, at least for my family, that the price point that they fetched at that time, even back then, right? They were really expensive for its time. So I was more of a GoBot kind of kid. I mean, I had a couple Transformers, a couple little ones, nothing big.
Yeah.
But, always liked it. I did like the cartoon, but surprisingly, it's weird. I don't have a fascination or a want or a need to put any Transformers in my collection. I'm okay with it. I don't mind listening to
it.
It's
the same here. When I was collecting as a kid, the Transformers came out kind of around the time I was probably getting too old for it because I'd spied girls, and I decided that was where it was at and not the toys. Right. But I had one Transformer, real Transformer, and that was Optimus Prime. The rest of what I had were GoBots who stood in for Transformers, because the GoBots were like buying a Matchbox car compared to the Transformers, to be honest with you.
I really don't know. Even like I had a buddy that was a big Transformers kid and collector. And I don't know if it was the dexterity in my fingers or what it was, but I always had a hard time trying to really getting them. I mean, I can get them undone, but trying to get them back, I'd tweak on an edge.
Well, the thing was, if you didn't do it right and you forced it, you'd break it.
Right, you break it, and then you're shit out of luck at that point. Where
Yeah.
GoBots were very simple, right? They just slide out to the side, flip the arms up, flip the legs down, pop the head up. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Really
if
simple.
you want to get into Transformers now, Ken is the place to go over there at Toy Connections. But
Yes.
and you know the Transformers were originally in Japan were two different toy lines that weren't even connected to each other. You had the ones that transformed into cars and stuff like that, and then you had the ones that transformed into everyday objects like guns and or pow things and boom boxes and stuff like that. Two separate lines, but they were combined when they got them over here to America to become the Transformers. You know?
The toys that made sense, Netflix. I think that Transformer, that was a very interesting, as much as I'm not a Transformer collector, it was a very interesting documentary for those toys to understand, you know, how it started in, or how it's obviously started in Japan and then how it ended up here in the United States and got, you know, well, rebranded, if you will, for Transformers. It's really cool how they do that, or how they did it.
Gojitrons. At my peak, I had over 1,100 Transformers in my collection. I can change them in my collection. Hey, you know, well, here's the thing. We all collect our own things, but remember when you were a kid and you would go like to your friend's house to play and he had toys that you didn't have, so you played with them when you went over to his house,
Sure.
or vice versa. They come over to your house and they play with your toys. Well, it's kind of like that in the toy community. As we go around watching these YouTube channels, it's like we're going over to their house to play with their toys.
That's correct.
I may not collect. Yeah, I may not collect what they're showing on their channel, but goddamn, they got me interested in watching.
Right.
And so I'm coming over there. I'm going to watch what they're doing with their toys because that I find interesting.
I had a friend that was really into the G.I. Joes, and I was not. I had a few, but like G.I. Joe wasn't really my jam. I was a Motu guy. I was a Ghostbuster guy. I was a Ninja Turtle guy, but G.I. Joe, Transformers, I might have had a few Thundercats, but they weren't really my jam either. But he had like all the cool G.I. Joe stuff. Like he had the F-14. He had like, you know, the tank, like everything. And we would go over there and just have a massive battle and make a big mess in his living room of just G.I. Joe stuff everywhere. And I enjoyed playing with them, even though I didn't have any.
Right.
I had a pretty good G.I. Joe collection when I was a kid. It wasn't massive by any means. It was more figure centric and a few of the original vehicles. I remember getting the first G.I. Joe comic book that came out, that first issue. And that kind of turned me on. I wanted to get everything that was in that comic book. And I did.
Finding that cheap now.
Right.
I still have it, but it's in awful shape.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Even in bad shape, that one's climbing pretty good. Like I've got the first.
Now, that was printed on Baxter paper, but yeah, it was stored in a cardboard box in a bad environment. And like I said, I looked through them and I'm like, damn, they're all ruined. But I might send them to you, Jones, or you might be able to do something with them.
I could tell you what their value would be for sure, even over the camera.
Well, you know,
just because something beat up don't mean it's doesn't have value.
Well, here's the thing with my G.I. Joe collection. You know, I have gotten kind of picky with what I'm collecting nowadays, and of course, I'm an out of box collector. Everything I got goes out of the box. I make stuff. I do all kinds of stuff. You can see my Shogun Warriors over here. You can see my Doctor Who stuff over here, and I got the Motu stuff and stuff like that. And I had a G.I. Joe collection that was in played with shape that had been abused and had fun with over the years, and most of it was incomplete and taking up a big chunk of our closet in the bedroom. And my wife is like, "What are you going to do with this S?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know what to do with it." Well, what I ended up doing with it is I gave every bit of it to Grindhead Jim, so that I could send him on a quest for vintage G.I. Joe, which he said he would never collect. Ha ha ha! Got your ass, Jim.
Gave him the bug.
Well, it worked. I did the same thing. I seen that Ghostbuster firehouse. I mean, I got a firehouse, but I had to buy other firehouses to make mine complete. So, or other I had to buy this other firehouse to complete my firehouse. And I was like, well, now you got 2 of them. What you gonna do with it? I said, send it to Grindhead Jim. Shit.
That was me with Castle Grayskulls. I must have had like at one point maybe 6 or 7 Castle Grayskulls that I was pilfering pieces off of.
I can only imagine what Mrs. Joneser was like on that.
Oh man, when I go to antique shops or whatnot, if they had anything Motu, even if I had it, I would buy it if the price was right, and I would pilfer what I needed from the collection and then resell what was left to get more Motu money to buy more, And I mean, it was like you said, as soon as you started with the one figure, it was like, hey man, the first hit's free and then the rest you got to pay for.
Toy plastic crack, as we call it here in the
right. And so I did the same thing with the Snake Mountain. I got it one piece at a time, which if you're gonna rebuild a vintage Masters of the Universe collection, my advice is you to go straight to fucking eBay and buy the figure completed. You'll save money.
Right.
If you're going to go out in the wild and try to hunt it piece by piece, you're going to spend more.
And you're going to waste a lot of gas.
Yes. You can't find it.
A lot of gas.
Same with like vintage Star Wars or any toys pre-1990. Hell, it's even getting pre-2000. It's hard to find this stuff unless you're going to antique stores or checking online auctions and things like that. And I haunt all this stuff because I'm always looking for comic books and vintage toys.
Do you do estate sales and stuff like that too?
Absolutely. In fact, that's one of the better places to find stuff where you might get it for a better price if there's nobody else there bidding on it that is in the know.
Right.
Now, Joneser, I'm going to put your feet in the fire for just a second there, buddy. I do that every once in a while. All right. So I hear all this shit about you going to these estate sales and you going on these hunts and you going blah, 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 blah. But I never see shit. So it's time for you to get the goddamn phone out when you're going out there and cut yourself up some videos and get home after it's over with and after you've had your fun with what you bought and cut a video and put it up here so that those of us who like to watch what you do can watch.
I have a very good reason for why I don't do that. And it's a little bit of a trick in the trade. As you know, I'm trying to do a side business. I have a business called Comic Joneser, where I sell comics and toys. I do shows and, conventions and whatnot. Now, the reason I don't pull my phone out when I go to these things, because I don't want anybody to zero in on what I might be bidding on or looking at or what, you know what I mean? Because you're going to tip somebody's hand. They're going to see, hey, this guy's video in this and he's looking at these comics and toys. I should bid against him. So it's kind of a competitive advantage. Like I don't go to the thing wearing a superhero t-shirt, go right over to the comic book pile. Right. I don't want them to know that I care about it that much.
That's a dead giveaway.
Yes.
That's a dead giveaway. You're a reseller.
So I goes over there, I'm looking over at the antique porcelain doll I don't give a shit about longer than I'm looking at, you know what I mean? And then you go sit in the gallery, and then when the other stuff comes on that you want, you just kind of in the background go, if I'm sitting there vlogging, oh, here comes the lot I'm interested in, somebody else might hear that, and even if they're not into it, be like, well, what's he bidding on it for?
I could just see Joneser. He's back there in the back raising his eyebrow, and the guy realizes that means I'm bidding.
What's really funny, when my wife was new to this bug I had, she would go with me to antique stores, or we'd look at people's comic collections or different things like that. And one thing I offer is free appraisals. And she's like, well, why would you offer to give a free appraisal? And it's like, because that gives me a chance to look at it and make an offer on it.
Right.
Right. And then I know what it's worth. And they got something out of it too, because then they got, given a rough idea.
And knowing you, Joneser, you tell them exactly what it's worth, and then you give them your
yes,
what you're willing to pay for it.
Yes.
If they don't want to pay for it, well, at least they know what it's worth, and they can go try to get that from somebody else. collections.
Well, and I'm trying to build a brand. And one thing, word of mouth will kill you quicker than it'll make you bigger.
yeah.
If someone goes around, hey, don't deal with this guy. He's dishonest. He's a scam artist. He's a ripoff. So what I always do is I'll look at the collection, like just with this one I just got. I told the lady, hey, you got a couple keys. You got the first appearance of the Kool-Aid Man. You got the first appearance of the Smurfs. So she's like thinking, oh, cool. How much money is that? And I was like, yeah, maybe $5-10 a piece. I'll give you $20 for the whole collection. And she's like, well, that doesn't make sense to me. Why would it only be $20? You just told me that'd be $20 just in those 2 books alone. There's another 80 of them here. And I said, well, here's the problem with that. I got to look them up one at a time. I got to pay to get them bagged and boarded. That's probably another $20-$40 right there. On top of the $20 I'm giving you, now you're squeezing out any money that I might get out of this. I got to rent the booth at the convention, which is, depends, $25, $50, all depends on what it is. Sit there all day, hope I sell enough of them to break even. So I got to buy these from you for 15, 10 cents a copy.
Tell her to go watch Pawn Stars and see what they're
Well,
giving.
and I even I said go to the comic store in town, River City Hobbies, and see what he'd give you.
That's kind of the same way. Like in the beginning when I started doing this, I would do a little flipping and reselling, to help fund the collection. Right. I've done it for years, and I don't want to say it baffles me, but it's like people obviously, and I'm sure it's like with Star Wars, they think they're sitting on gold, right? They think they have gold diamonds, or gold and diamonds and silver, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like, listen, I try to tell them, like you just explained, listen, I get you understand what I told you, what it's worth, or you've gone to eBay and you see what it's going for there. But again, you got to remember, I have to sell it. I have to make something on it, and I have to now market it or get it prepared and all that. And that takes away from my ultimate, goal of what I need to make.
That's what you can get for it if you sell it directly from on eBay or an auction or whatever. But
here's the thing:
they look at you like you're a vulture, right?
Well, they want the finish line money without running the race. Right. That's what it is. And it's like, I'm not going to run the race for you to give you the finish line money. It'd be better if I just didn't touch it. And there's a lot of deals that don't get made because of that. Because it's a business. Sure. I have to stick to my guns. I have to, then there's a lot of collections I really wanted, but price wasn't right. I had to walk away because it just wasn't what it was.
I've been in that boat several times.
It's a difference between being a businessman and running a business with this, and then being just a straight up collector.
Well, here's the hard part.
I might go buy that from her for what it's worth
because you want it.
Because I want it, right? I'm not going to resell it. But if I were going to resell it and I thought I was going to make a profit on it, I can't buy it for what I'm going to sell it for.
Here's the hard part for me, because I'm into this stuff and I'm trying to run a business. I'm into. So guess who's the worst thief in the Joneser store?
Right,
Joneser. So I'll buy the comic collection, pull out the good stuff, and try to sell off all the poo-poo and try to get my money back.
I already know, Joneser. I already know, man. You are the alcoholic who owns the liquor store.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
That's hard, man, because I've been in that position several times, and you're like, man, or I'll get a collection, right? And I like to think I'm fair. I'm not giving them full retail value, obviously, but I'm gonna make a decent offer. But then when I get home with it, and and I'm telling myself the whole time, hey, I know how I'm gonna have to price this out. I know how I'm gonna have to make my money back on this. And then you get stuck, and you're like, damn, man, that would look really good in my collection.
Well, I've been looking for one of these for a while,
Or I've wanted that forever, man, and now I got one. Do I really want to flip it?
I bought a big vintage Motu collection. I can't remember what I paid, but it was too much. But it was a huge collection. It had a complete Gray Skull, complete Fright Zone.
Oh wow!
It had some big time pieces in there. All the figures were complete, taken good care of, and I probably paid. Yeah, they were all in good, played with shape. And most of the pieces in the collection I already had. I was really just buying the collection for the complete Fright Zone with puppet. that was what I wanted.
I've seen that puppet. It's amazing.
Yeah, I got a really clean puppet for that. And that was worth probably a third of what I paid for it in itself, you know. But the lady had an idea of what it was. She didn't take my first offer or my second offer. We did the dicker and in the dance, and I think I paid $350 for the day set. And I broke even on it because I put the Fright Zone and the puppet in my collection, and I sold off the rest of it and got my money back. Sure. But you know, you bring this box of junk home, and your wife goes, "What'd you pay for that?" And you're like, $350. What? $350.
You know, I don't flip very much anymore. I do here occasionally. Actually, it's turned more into just selling little pieces off from my collection here and there anymore, where I don't have an attachment to, or it's doubles or triples of what I've had. So I really haven't done it in a while. In the beginning, when I was funding a lot of starting up my collection again, I did that obviously to get the pieces that I wanted. But now that I don't do it as much anymore, it's hard as the collector now, because, you know, we know how the game works. Right. And I try to negotiate, like if I'm still buying it, to potentially resell it, you know, but it doesn't obviously work that way. The reality is, right at the end of the day, if you want it and you can afford it and you want it in your collection, sometimes you just we all bite the bullet, right? We all take that hard hit and take one for the team and bring it home. So
I'll spend different if I'm buying for me than I do when I'm spending for the money I've earmarked for the business.
Oh, sure.
Different animal, you know.
Sure.
But unfortunately, the way I pilfer from the alcoholic drinking from his own liquor store, I will sometimes have that in mind as I'm negotiating, you know.
And I know you do that with the comic books.
Absolutely.
This cat goes in there, he looks at the comic book collection, he goes, "Oh, I need that for my collection, I need that for my collection, I need that for my," makes an offer, and then he comes home and he gets all the good stuff out of it, and he puts it in his collection.
I'm getting better at letting go. I'm starting to realize I'm out of room. Yeah. I can't keep everything. I've got to start letting stuff go. So I've been letting some things go that I didn't want to let go. Yeah. Another thing with the comic books, and you can grade in action figures too, but grading is a whole nother animal. Yeah. So you get the action figure or comic book or whatever you're going to get graded. You have to think of the price of the piece, the price of grading, and the potential profit after all that's done, including shipping and sending it off, and what the potential grade might be. So there's a lot of factors in there. Sure. So if you're overpaid, then you're upside down. I've got a few graded comics I don't even like looking at because I'm upside down on them.
Yeah. Comics was, I mean, as much as I love the artwork in it and the nature of the comics and the storylines and all that, it was just something that I never got into. I've got tons of friends that are into it, still into it today. It's just something I didn't get into, and I don't know why. I mean, I love to read. I don't mind reading. It was just something that, I don't know, I never got into it, but it amazes me on what some of this stuff is going for. Like this was at a convention that I went to a couple months ago, or back in June here in Austin, Greater Austin Comic Con. And somebody had walked in and sold the guy a huge lot. You can see it on my video. Sold him a huge lot, primarily all Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi 3 3/4 inch stuff. And he goes, I just picked this stuff up today. But underneath it were all his comics, right? He had them all locked in this nice little glass display. And he had like a number one, I think it was a number one Spider-Man there. And I looked at the price and I said, I mean, no disregard to you, man, but could you really potentially sell that here today for that price? I don't know. Correct me wrong. I think it was about, I think he had like $9,000 or $10,000 on it based on the grade. Right. And I was like, and he goes, you never know who's going to come through these doors, man.
My question is, I haven't seen the video. Was it in a slab, or was it graded, or was it bagged and boarded?
No, it was graded. It was graded.
Yeah.
It was like, holy crap. You know, I was like,
depending on the grade of that, he could have got that or more from it, potentially, right, Joneser? I mean, that's
yeah, and I've got a few graded books from the 40s. Like I got some old Captain Marvels and Batmans I had at the last convention I did, and I had a $400, $500 price tag on them.
wow.
And you know, yeah, there was a couple people walk by, they don't know, because this was all I did sports cards, so I was the oddball there doing comic books at the sports card place. But you could sometimes there's some bleed over, you know, and yeah, the one guy was like, well, is that really worth $500? And I was like, yeah. And I pulled up some eBay last solds and showed him ones in condition similar that went for a similar price. And he's like, someone really going to come here and pay you $500 for that? And I was like, well, I freaking hope so.
Right.
You know, or we could do the little dance where he offers $350, I say $450, and we shake hands at $400.
right.
That can happen too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you never know.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's crazy, man. What comics go for, and I've heard, correct me if I'm wrong, are hard copy comics kind of on the downcline, or I've heard that because I've seen a couple stores in my general area, like they're cutting back drastically on selling
New
comics.
stuff, yes. Old stuff is always going to be there.
There's certain, what I call it would be a blue chipper key. So if you're talking like the first Spider-Man or first X-Men, first Fantastic Four, first Superman, those are always going to be valuable.
Sure.
You know, with a lot of the other keys, a lot of what moves the needle in the market would be what's in development. So like when that Sandman show came on to Netflix, a lot of those old Sandman comics started to
Gotcha.
The Guardians of the Galaxy movie started coming. So that started to move the needle a little bit.
Sure.
Now say they come out with a new Wonder Woman movie and it stinks.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Well, and one of the other thing is, you know, modern comics, which is a joke in my opinion. I know you still collect a few of those there, Jones, or I don't know if you know how deeply you are into that. That's the stuff that I don't think is worth the paper it's printed on anymore.
you'd be surprised. Like I watch, because it's a business, I got a key collector app on my phone. So when the new stuff comes out, even if I'm not into it, if there's something desirable about it, there's a variant cover or there's something, you know, where it's like, okay, I could get this in my comic shop for $3.99 and, you know, probably sell it for $10. That would probably be worth my time.
I'm going to be honest with you. I know you're the number one comic guy. You're my number one comic guy, if anybody is.
The number 2000 comic.
I will tell you this right now. I had rather stick a needle in my eye than watch the X-Men on their little island.
No, those suck. That sucks. I mean, I'm really hoping when Marvel does, because I've seen some of those X-Men 97 toys, and those really got my interest peaked. I was a big fan of that cartoon when I was a kid. And I'm really hoping those toys are good and that's fun. And I hope that the setting is where it should be. Because, yeah, what they're doing with the X-Men comics now is garbage. What they're doing with Spider-Man and Batman now, Superman, it's all garbage. You know, I mean, I like to read the old stuff, but that's just because I'm a cranky old guy that hates change.
I guess that goes with it just goes with the nature of our story, right? We're older guys. It goes back to our toys. It goes back to that time. You know, I mean, yes, I love what Mattel's doing with the Origins line, right? I love it. And obviously we love the classic side of it. When Mattel announced that they're shifting, and this is where I got a lot of hate on that Point Dread video, with inaccuracies, they said it's not that I said the toy is. I said, is this the toy that's ending the line, right? Because if you look on the box, there's really everything on that box is everything we got. I know we've got Snake Mountain coming. I know we've got tons of other characters coming, but we also know Mattel shifting it to their online, creation.
There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. It's because it's not selling at retail like they want it to.
Right.
The very fact that they're going to offer it at Mattel Creations is just a boon for us, because now we can get that stuff that we were hoping that it would go to before it ended. Right. But like anything else, everything comes to an end.
Right.
And what we're seeing is the downside of the hill on this. and it's just something that we have to keep in mind.
Well, I mean,
I know Megan
what's left?
Retro
What's
is
left?
thinking, hey, this is going to be forever, but it's not. It's not forever.
Well,
Right.
what vintage character from Motu Origins is left that they haven't done? They've got what? Extendar.
They've showed
We're
him.
getting Cyclone.
Okay, they've showed Extendar and Cyclone, but have they shown Rio Blast?
No, I haven't seen
Dragster.
Right.
You know, so they're multi-bot, Moduloc. There's a
Right.
few.
I would like to
There's
see
not
them
many.
do Moduloc, although I'm not interested in buying Moduloc. I've probably come to the point where once I get to Snake Mountain, I'm probably gonna be real picky with what I get on Origins from
And
here
a
on out.
Blast Attack, but I mean,
Now,
who's left?
Bill, will you be getting or stepping your toe, if you will, into the water of the Filmation line that they're gonna start run with? I as soon as I saw that reveal at San Diego Comic-Con, I was like, oh shit, there goes my wallet, right? Let me just, good Lord, here we go again. But
here, take my money. No,
right.
I'm not. Joneser already knows this. As much as I love the Filmation cartoon, I have them, I watch them. That's not my cup of tea. My cup of tea is I play with my toys. I admit it. I take Point Dread and go. I mean, and a lot of times I'll put people on the spot and ask them if they play with the toys and make them admit it. I've done that to Michael a couple of times on here. But the thing is, I'm about going to the origin of it.
Right.
Those original 4 storybook, quote unquote, comics that came with the figures is where my mind goes.
Yeah.
And that I've customized my toys so they look like they looked in those books.
Nice.
They've got toes on their feet instead of little socks on their feet. He-Man's got an original He-Man head from the original series, not an actual original series, but I got Lee to make me a resin head from an original He-Man to put on my Origins figure. The thing is, I'm more interested in having my figures look like Mark Taylor intended them to look, or Alcala drew them in those comics, and my storyline goes in that direction. Although it kind of skews a little bit if you've seen Allie the Piper get rid of Skeletor and the gang using the Great Scottish Bagpipe on one of my videos. But you know, the thing is that's kind of where I go with that. As much as I enjoy the Filmation cartoon, I'm not interested in buying toys of those. Does that mean I won't buy one or two of them? I mean, God only knows what'll happen to me when I actually get my hands on something like
I
that.
saw them. They look great. They look like they should for a Filmation representation. I immediately said I do not need to buy any more Masters of the Universe stuff, and I'm not going to get them. But that being said, just because I see one in Walmart sitting there or wherever it's going to be, I might get it. I'm saying no now.
That's how I look at it too.
Like that all the time, and wind up in Target or Walmart doing a toy hunt, going, "Oh, here it is! Look, it's actually on the shelf."
That's what happened with me with Masterverse. I wasn't doing Masterverse, and then I seen them, and they had the whole set at Walmart from the original release. They had the Skelegod, they had the He-Man, the Tila, or not the Tila, He-Man, Evelyn, Skeletor, Mossman, and the Skelegod. So they had all 5 of them sitting there,
and that's. Jones are the same thing for me too, man. I told myself, if you ever get a chance, you go back and you look at my early videos, I was like, I'm not gonna do it, not gonna do it, not gonna do it. And then I turned myself into a hypocrite, and I did it because I friggin' I walked in. It was actually what spiked it was I was in a Target in what was it? Was it? I think it was Lake Havasu, Arizona. I can't remember. It was in Arizona, wherever we were at. Anyways, I was in there and they had, like you said, almost the whole first series discounted. This Target, no one was hitting it. I mean, they had so much stock on this one. I'm like, I must be the only toy collector in this town because why is all this shit on the shelf? And it was all discounted. So I got a lot of these guys here behind me for like $688, $888.
Why not?
And I just bought it up. And I dived in really, really deep on it. And then as they would discount here in Texas, I'd pick them up. But now I'm kind of at the point where I don't really feel like I want to collect that line anymore. I do like the Filmation stuff coming out, but I've told myself I'm only gonna do, and I'm probably gonna eat my words here, but I'm only gonna do like the initial characters, right? He-Man, Skeletor, obviously. I'll probably pick those up. Obviously, Tila, Man at Arms, Beast Man. Maybe if they do a Merman, I don't know. And that's probably really
I hear you down there. You already told me a little white lie. You said I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to get.
Yeah.
So there you go. Now, Joneser, you've been called out by Borg Productions here. He says you look like a wrestler that he knows.
Saw that.
I see. What is Bowie Hicks saying here? Mattel should steal some tooling from the Jurassic team to get Motu some dinosaurs done on the cheap. Why not?
Yeah. What's it going to hurt?
Well, here's the thing. Like, those are some of the hardest vintage pieces to get. Are those?
They are, and they've been
teased
forever. They've been teased forever in artwork. So why not give us some dinosaurs? I'm not a fan of that era of Motu, but
neither am I.
But I do like big giant things. See above me here, I've got some Shogun Warriors vintage. I'd probably get one or two of them if I saw them and I could get my hands on them. I would think they would be a creations only thing, though.
I'd have to say, though, we're going with the Masterverse stuff. It reminded me because, like I said, I wasn't going to do it, and then I seen them all. And I was like, well, I can get the whole first wave without even hunting. Like, it's done.
Well, see,
so I put them all in the shopping cart, and then the wife immediately, like, I thought you said you weren't buying those.
Yeah.
And I said, I
watched you, Joneser. You went from Origins centric.
Yeah.
And you're slowly getting Masterverse centric.
Quite honestly, once you got those in hand and pose it and move it around, I don't know how. I mean, the Origins ones are cool too. Just don't get me wrong, because I had the vintage, and as soon as I had my first Origins He-Man in hand, I was like, "Man, you gotta." When these toys are in your hand, it's just so different than what it is when you look at it or the box, or even when you have a vintage one that only did this. This one.
They're solid. They're solid. They're solid pieces, and Masterverse is definitely solid. I mean, I was really surprised because when I told myself, nope, not going to do it, and then I did it. And then when I got them open and started playing with them, I was like, holy crap, these are actually not bad figures.
They're great. Well. I bought a couple of them. I haven't bought a more than two. I know I got the Stratos because I wanted to steal his wings off of him and see if they would go on a Origins figure, but and I got another one so that I could prize his feet off and stick him on another figure. I'm a customizer over here for the most part. People cringe because I sit there and rip my toys apart and make different things out of them. But
I think the only one that I really had a problem with, and I don't know, you can tell me, Jones, or if you have too, the one I had a real big problem with, and I don't know if you have them, but it was Stinkor. That was his feet. The way they're bald, they're like rigidity on the bottom. I've had a hard time keeping him posed standing up.
Yeah, he was a little different. I did like that they added the mask and the air tank on him.
Yeah, that was cool.
He was a cool figure, but yeah, his balancing or having to get that figure to stand is kind of funky. The feet were weird.
The only reason I've passed on Stratos was because he's got those same style feet, I believe, right? I think he does.
Yeah, he might. He has them weird furry feet with the toes.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, no, he doesn't. Not Stratos.
No, he doesn't. Merman has the clawed feet.
That's right. Zodak does, right?
Zodak does.
Zodak's got clawed
Zodak
feet.
Does.
Yeah. Zodak a little better. I don't know.
He always had scaled more feet.
But the one thing I was going to say with the Masterverse stuff that really drew me in once I had them, pulled them out of the package, moved them around, posed them, took pictures. I think I even did a stop motion.
I already know, Joneser, you missed out on the classics figures, and this is your way of getting as close to that as you possibly can.
I would have to say, in some of them, they're superior. I think
they are.
They pose better.
The
And for the
Zodak
price
is
point,
for sure.
I mean, some of those classics, you're going to spend $300-$400 to get.
I saw Zodak at the store the other day, and I came that damn close to buying it. But I've told myself I'm going to stick with Origins.
Right.
Yeah. I almost bought them yesterday. They had him. They had the new Ram Man. They had who was it? Bo. They had God, who else do they have? And I was really, 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 really tempted. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I don't not at least right now. I'm not going to do it.
The other thing I'd say is with them is for availability. Try to collect the Origins line. Say you're going to start right now. I'm going to collect Origins. I'm going to start from the beginning. I need to get Wave 1 Origins. Good luck.
Good luck.
You know, you go to Big Bad Toy Store right now, you could probably get the whole Masterverse catalog right off of them.
Yeah.
I think you can get every figure.
You might still be able to find like I haven't seen a He-Man with the Origins head sculpt, right? I've never seen the He-Man with the vintage head sculpt in stores. I never saw it. I think that was maybe just an online exclusive, wasn't it? Because I never seen it in a store.
Are y'all talking about the 40th anniversary He-Man Masterverse figure?
No. We're back on Origins. Talking about the Origins that had the vintage head sculpt.
I never saw that in the store either, but you can buy it today from Amazon.com for like $16.
Yeah.
I got the vintage head with the battle armor He-Man thing. So I didn't hunt for the one in the original because I didn't think I needed it.
All right, not now when Boba Hicks wants to know. I guess he's talking about you there, Neil. By the way, Joneser, Boba Hicks gave you some rules. Rule number 1, never tell your wife that you're not going to buy something.
Right. She's come around.
Rule number 2, never tell your wife that you are going to buy something.
She's come around. She understands. She knows who she married. She gets it. I don't bother her, and she has 50,000 shoes in the closet, so she don't bother me that I got.
I didn't know that you married Imelda Marcos. You're old too.
She's actually somewhat supportive. It's kind of funny. Like she'll be at Walmart and then she'll be like, "I went through the toy aisle. Do you need this one?" I love that.
Smith's is I guess is an online retailer in Ireland. Boba Hicks. He said he found the vintage head sculpt He-Man in a Smith's store there where he lives in Ireland. So
my wife went with me here, when I went to that Austin or Greater Austin Comic Con. It's the first time she ever went to a show with me. And I was kind of like, taken back by it, right, when she went, because I knew I was going to be shooting content, but I was also kind of reserved on, or wanted to be reserved on my spending and stuff like that, because I didn't want her to think this is like every time I go to a damn show, this is what I'm spending all this money. But surprisingly, she's the one that actually spent more money.
Oh, really?
She found more cool stuff for herself, and we're both big horror fans as well, and she found a lot of cool little trinkets, and she bought a lot from our daughter too. She bought a lot of stories or the up and coming artists that are writing and stuff like that, fantasy or fairy tales type stuff. So she bought a lot for her as well. But it was fun to watch her while she was going through it. So now she kind of knows like what it's like for me when I go to a show, right? I might shoot all my content, but then I like to double back and go through. And now I like to go out and start picking and hunting and all that. Sometimes you get stuff. Sometimes you get asked out on it because it's already been bought or whatnot. But I think it was kind of really cool to see that, to have the wife there,
No, it's neat when couples have that dynamic, or they can at least support each other in it, or if she's even into it, that's great. My wife doesn't care for any of this stuff at all. She just knows that I do, so we've been at the comic store, and I'm looking, I got a gift certificate for my birthday, and I'm looking for a comic to buy, and she actually, pulls one out and goes, "Hey, how about this one?" And I was like, That'll do.
That'll do.
So she knows my taste, even though she's not into it.
Well,
Sure.
I'm sure you, Joneser, have seen a couple of my toy hunt videos where Paula's been along with me. That's kind of funny because as much hell as she gives me about buying this shit, there's one in particular video that I remember doing where I go in there and I got the figure in my hand and going, I'd love to have this, but I don't know if I can get it or not. And I'm like, look at this figure, Paula. And she goes, oh, you got to get that. And I'm like, ha 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 ha.
I seen the one where she had the D&D figures and she walked up and she had the D&D figures in her hand. I was like, you got those.
I wasn't going to buy them, and when she came up with them in her hand, I'm like, hey.
Yep, I'm like, those are in. They're in.
So last night I found Dr. Jones 3 3/4 inch on the new retro card stuff, and he's the last one I needed to complete for the Last Crusade, and we were getting ready to check out, and I had it there in the top part of the shopping cart, and she looked, she gives me those, eyes like, am I buying this for you? Or are you paying for it, out of your account or something like that? And I said, no, it's up to you. Whatever you want to do. You want to pay for it? If not, I'll pay for it, So I ended up paying for it, but
I have gone to the checkout line and she'll go, I'll buy this and you buy that, and I'll buy this and you buy that.
Yeah.
See, that's funny you say with your account or my money or money, because that's exactly how we do business over at the Jones house. I have a fund money account. I also have an account for the business. And so I have to be careful what money comes out of the fund money, what money comes out of the business.
Sure.
We contribute to it weekly by a percentage of the paycheck or the allotment. If I go over the allotment, then we don't get no more toys for a while. And if it's got to stay in the parameters. And that has eliminated any of the arguing, fighting, or discussing about toy budget completely. Yeah. I know a lot of collectors who lie and hide from their spouses. And to me, that's doing it wrong. You need to be honest, forthcoming, and transparent, and make some ground rules and stick to them. Yeah, dishonesty will kill any marriage. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. You can't do that. I mean, hey Ted, good to have you back, man. But as much as we joke,
right?
As much as we joke about it, we don't really hide anything from our spouses. No. That's like that video I did where I'm going to Arkansas to go toy hunt at the Walmart across the river over there. I came home and got clubbed in the head with a rolling pin. It's hilarious. So you got to watch that. Of course, Shagbag from In the Heat of the Night calls her up. Hey, he's headed to Arkansas. He's going across the river. And as soon as I come out of the truck going, I got to sneak this stuff in the house so my wife don't find me. As soon as I open the door, dun, 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 plow.
I laughed my ass off when I saw that. I was like, oh, that's great. I even made my wife watch that.
No, I've been, my wife has always known I've been a collector. She knows that I'm a collector of a lot of different things. And she's like, what am I supposed to do with all this stuff, right? If something ever happened. And I said, well, this is who, I've even told her about the toy stuff, right? I said, if something, God forbid, ever happened, all you have to do is get up on my social media accounts, start finding some of the friends out there and just tell them, hey, this is what's happened. I need some help, right? I need some help. And kind of go from there.
And unlike some other communities that I've been involved in, I'm looking all at you magicians. I don't think that the toy community is going to come in and take advantage of a widow.
No. Honestly, I've seen it in action, even with the comic books.
Really?
There was a fella, Sam's Tangled Web, and he had passed away. And Bueller, who was his friend, went and helped the family sell off the comic collection. And Bueller didn't ask for a dime or pill for the collection, and he helped them do what needed to be done. And so I've seen it in action, and it was a sad thing to see. Sam was a subscriber to my channel, and I remember being like, holy wow, he wasn't as big a bug as Bueller, but it was like the buddy of the big bugs watching my shit. That was pretty cool, and I was very sad that he had unexpectedly passed away and very young, but I was very happy that the community, especially Bueller, had helped him and help the family, his sister and the
That's
survivors, to get what needed to be done.
Right.
Well, I already know what's going to happen when I finally kick the bucket. First, my daughter and her boyfriend are going to come over here, and they're going to get everything they want out of this house. And then Paul's going to be left with what's left, and then she's going to get in touch with somebody like Grindhead Jim, and then it's going to get to where it needs to go.
Sure.
And talking about that, I mean, that's a deep subject, guys. I don't know if you know who Rolo is, Masters Maniac Mexico.
Not familiar.
He's a good friend of ours that lives in Mexico. He's actually a German who moved to Mexico and has lived there for the past few years. He's got terminal cancer, and he is going to die. And he's in the hospital right now, probably. We haven't heard from him in weeks, but he did a video on his channel a long time ago over at Masters Maniac Mexico about what he wants to do with his collection. He wants it to go to people who will enjoy it, and he's given some of it to some people that we know in the community already. He's given me some things. He's given a lot of other people some things, and he's got a plan in mind of where his collection is going to go, because he knows what his old lady's going to do with his collection. She's going to take it to the dumpster and throw it all away. And he wants to make sure that stuff goes where it needs to go, to people who want to love it. And it's something it's something you got to keep back here in the back of your mind. We're not immortal as much as we want to be.
No, and I have no illusions. My kids will sell this stuff before my body's even cold. You know, they don't have no attachment to it. You know?
Right. I don't think my kids would either. I mean, they might pick something out of it that reminds them of dad and all that. Right. But it's funny, like you said, it's the reality, right? And you don't hear enough about it in this world, right? So we try to the positive things that we do talk about, obviously, are the collections, and then we talk about the negativity of the few that are out there in the community that make it enjoyable to be around or watch their content or watch what they do. But the reality is, what do you do if something happens? How do you make sure your family knows how to take your collection and get what they need for it to either help for burial, whatever it may be that you need, or just the financial aspect of it. And I guess it kind of comes back to, I don't mean to sound kind of morbid or going off the deep end here, but I put my stuff in my living will, so it's in mine. I have direction on what you should do, or what my family should do.
Well, that's kind of the point of why that got brought up. It's something that you need to keep back here in the back of your mind and make some kind of concession for. Right. And obviously you have, Neil.
Here's the thing, we just went through this. My wife had just lost her mother, and you got to go through arranging the funeral, getting the family together, picking the burial, you get all the things that go with that. And then after all that, you got to go to your husband's corner of his basement and start digging into his hoard pile,
wow.
And then it's like you're trying to grieve and deal with all this. And now
that probably exasperates the matter, because
correct.
as they go through your things, all they're doing is seeing you over and over and over again. I get that too. Let's move on to a better subject real quick.
Sure.
First of all, if you guys don't mind, I want to play a little video about a giveaway that we're doing here on the show. Sure. I'm going to be doing this on every show until I actually do the giveaway, because I want to give everyone a chance to get this. We got King Hiss that's going to be available brand new on card, unpunched. And we also have a brand new Supermobile from McFarlane Toys. It's still sealed up in the package. We're going to spin a wheel, and whoever is the last one left on the wheel after we eliminate everybody off of it's going to win these things. But in order to win, you've got to enter the contest, and here's how to do that. Hey guys, you want to get a chance to win Masters of the Universe Origins King Hiss, or a new McFarlane Superpower Supermobile? Well, check this out. We're going to be having a giveaway contest here on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures, and here's how to enter.
Just email weirdfantastictoys@gmail.com and in the subject line put Contest King Hiss and in the body your name and address in order to enter for King Hiss. Do the same thing, email weirdfantastictoys@gmail.com and put the subject line Contest Supermobile and in the body your name and address to enter for the Supermobile. Stay tuned to Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures to find out when the giveaway will happen. Each name will be put onto a wheel and the wheel will be spun and the last man standing will win the prize. And always be sure to hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you'll know when Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures is on.
Reiterate, that email address is what you send it to. Do not send it to the blog. I've got a contact form over there. Don't use that. It goes to a different address. Use the email address I put in that video. Make sure you fill out the subject line so I know which contest you want to enter. And for God's sakes, put your name and address in there so I can know who to send it to. One person, I won't name any names, used the contact form on my blog to enter the contest and didn't send me a address. I know who that person is, and I will put you in the contest. But anybody else that does that, that's going to disqualify you. You've got to enter it correctly. And Boba Hicks asked me the other day, is international? I pretty much have decided no, it's only for in the United States only because international shipping is out of this world.
No.
But if you are international, excuse me, if you are international and you enter the contest, you're going to have to help me with the shipping because shipping is outrageous nowadays.
Yeah.
Johnny was saying it'd be $100 for me to send him an empty box.
Yeah,
I want to look into that because I've had some luck sending stuff to Canada to Adam, and I've been able to get it there for like $20. Which,
well, you use that pirate shipping thing, which I don't. I went to the post office with 2 G.I. Joe figures that I picked up for him. And
yeah, I print my own labels right here and everything.
I think I spent $20 a piece for the G.I. Joe figures. That's $40. And then I spent another $58 to send it to him.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
That's nuts. That's crazy.
Yeah, so I've had some luck getting stuff
there,
to Canada. But Canada's closer to me than Australia, you know.
John, did you see what our items were that we were offering for the giveaway? The Justice Jogger was not part of the deal. I don't own a Justice Jogger, nor do I plan on owning a Justice Jogger. Why would I want a Justice Jogger? Why does Superman need to ride in some kind of mechanical vehicle that walks? I don't understand.
When he can fly.
Yeah, he's Superman. I mean,
that kind of throws you at the Supermobile argument right there, too.
Well,
right, exactly.
He's got the Supermobile. You've got the comic book issue that introduced the Supermobile.
I get it. You know, but I kid. It was like Spider-Man with the motorcycle. That was my favorite toy as a kid. I had a Spider-Man on a motorcycle, but does it make sense for Spider-Man to ride a motorcycle when he could zip through the city way better without it?
They made fun of that with the Spider-Mobile anyway. When Johnny,
I think Aquaman has a freaking jet ski. Like, are you serious?
Right. On the I'd rather for him to ride on that giant seahorse, though.
Oh, come on, seahorse.
It's like putting the Flash inside of a car and calling it the Flashmobile or something.
I think he had a van.
I'm sure there's a toy of that somewhere out there.
I think he had a van. I'm serious.
You know,
like not only did he have a car, he had like the slowest car you could freaking have.
I'll tell you what, John, I love you, my friend. And if you guys haven't seen a World Made of Cardboard's channel, please go do that. He makes cardboard stuff, and he offers these things so that you can download them and make them for yourself as well. But John, I'll tell you what, you get with Bjorn Jorgensen. Both of you guys are big on this Justice Jogger crap. If you want me to have a Justice Jogger, you buy me one and send it to me, and I will put it in my collection, and I will cherish it forever. But I'm not buying a Justice Jogger.
Yeah.
Okay, Bo.
But the Thanos copter, that
makes got a bad knee on the Thanos copter. Now look, that is so hilarious. And of course, Thanos Copter's here with us now.
Yeah, I know.
I'm in the chat.
I saw it and
I,
it hit me.
If I could get my hands on that issue of Spidey Super Stories where the Thanos Copter actually shows up and the police take him off to jail in handcuffs, I would get it just for the hilarity.
Watching the police walk Thanos away, in handcuffs is just gold.
I could see Carl riding in a Justice Jogger. So I want to know how, as a college kid, Spider-Man could afford all the computers in his room and all that lab equipment to make web fluid with and all that. Yeah. I guess he had to go make money selling photos to J. Jonah Jameson, but didn't he take all that money and give it to Aunt May so she could pay the rent and shit?
Probably.
It depends on which version of it you read. Obviously, the lore from the 60s to me was, is a different world than when they rebooted it for Ultimate Spider-Man in the 90s or 2000 or whenever they did that.
Well, Goji brings up the MCU here, where Tony Stark handed out all the gizmos.
He's funded.
Thanos is godlike being hops in a helicopter for quick escape.
Yes. Yes.
With Thanos written across the back, the side of it, so you know that it's his helicopter.
And a bright yellow helicopter. Yeah.
Yes. Well, guys, I promised everybody that I'd open some figures. You guys want to watch me open some figures real quick?
Sure.
All right, let me fire up the old toy cam here. I shut it off a minute ago because it was my resources were getting hogged up. But let's see if I can get this going real quick. First of all, and
Bill, are these like your pickups for the week or stuff that just come in, or
pretty much this stuff I just got in the mail. It's about 3 figures. I've also got a play set here that I've been working on, just kind of playing with. It's the Batcave. Everybody's seen it, but I've been messing around here with it. Let me get it up here real quick. Toy cam and me, and bring that up so that everybody can see me.
Okay.
Big.
I love the addition of Alfred to that.
Yes, that's my custom Alfred figure. If you go over to my blog, you can see more about him from a while back. He's made from, of course, a Joker figure, and then I took I think it was a Toy Biz Mr. Freeze head, and popped it off and stuck it on there. The bow tie, of course, is made from Sculpey clay. I made a mold of I think it was Penguin's bow tie to make that. Put some buttons on his shirt. I don't know if you can see them in this on this camera here, but he's got buttons on his shirt.
I've seen you got a little tea tray or coffee tray, so you can bring sandwiches and coffee down to the cave that Bruce.
Yeah, the little dollhouse silver tea set there. I picked up and added to that. So, you had said that he needed to bring Bruce some sandwiches that he would never eat. So
right, yeah, that's what he does. He brings him coffee, he doesn't drink. Brings him food, he doesn't eat. Robin will have a meal while Batman works.
Right, and those of you guys know that last week when I had the play set up, I had a stand-in dinosaur for the full-size one. I went ahead and dug the full-size one out from the closet over there and stuck it over there in the trophy room. And I want to do a video going over each piece that I've added in here. You can't see it on the camera here, but behind these cardboard back computers here, there's a vase with a couple of penguin umbrellas in it. And I've got an old chess set in the closet I'm going to grab a few pieces out of and stick in there for the chess pieces, so that I can make more trophies in the trophy room area there. But we were going to open figures. Well, of course, as much as we bitch about the Evil Bay, I went ahead and did what Carl did and went over to the Evil Bay and got the Black Manta that I didn't feel like hunting for or missing out on FOMO, So we got Black Manta here, and also from Amazon, I had these. I think I had them on pre-order from Entertainment Earth because I missed out when Big Bad had them up. So I've got the new Wonder Woman figure that's got the more classic colors, but it's the same body sculpt.
I like that one. I thought about picking her up. I seen her at the store.
Yeah, of course, if I saw her at the store, I'd probably pick her up again if I saw her at the store. Now here we have the Detective Batman, and Joneser, I'm sure, is curious about these capes.
I am.
So we're gonna open them up. So, chat, who should I open first? Black Manta, Batman, or Wonder Woman? We'll see who they say. Are those Bat computers made of cardboard? And yes, I did just answer you. They are. They were from Action Figure Theater downloads, AFT downloads. When he actually had that site going, he made a set, a Batcave set that would work with the 3 3/4 inch set, the Batman figures, 66 Batman figures that came out a while back. I rescaled those up so they would work with superpowers. So John asked me another question here. Let me see. What's your pickup line for Wonder Woman? Let me see. What's a good pickup line for Wonder Woman? Did it hurt? When you fell from the heavens? Okay.
I always like this one. Your parents must be retarded because you look like a special girl to me.
I'm sure that all worked for you real well.
Every time. At least it got them to laugh before they told me to get lost.
Open the Batman. So we got two Batman. I'm gonna go ahead and open Batman. I think everybody is really itching to see Batman. And of course, I know you guys that collect on card are gonna just scream and holler. But you know what I do? I just rip them open. I don't care. I'm going to try to save as much of that back as I can because I'm probably going to cut that out and add it to the little card collection. There's the little back card like from the old ones. All right, so what do we have here? We have a 2-piece inner piece in here. We have nothing holding the cape down like before.
Good. No giant freaking hole in it.
Nope. And so what I'm going to do is check that out. All right, so we're going to pull him out. And am I going to just yank the cape out, or am I going to pull it this way? I guess it comes out through that hole, but it's going through a hole back here in the back. So here we go. All right, the cape came off and comes back out like that. And this time, instead of made out of some shitty ribbon material, it's made out of some cloth that's more like what the vintage was like there, Jones. Okay. That's very, very.
I gotta get this Batman.
Yeah, same here. That's what I was thinking.
And so he's got the little clip that clips it to his neck, and look how that cape just drapes all around him, kind of like in the.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And also. McFarlane had listened to us about the stance on the figures. He has got this camera down here where you can see he's got this wider stance on his feet so that he looks more like the vintage. So let's compare real quick. Vintage figure with this figure. They are pretty much the same size, if not actually the same size. Look at the stance on his feet. Wow. Let me take my ugly mug off of here so that I'm not covering it up. There we go. Now you can see that the feet stance is about the same. The head sculpt is very similar with the lantern jaw.
Dude, I really like the look of that new figure. The color scheme, the black with the mask.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. The black really accents it really well.
They nailed
it. It looks kind of like the Super Friends cartoon that we all remembered.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
That's what it hit me like too.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Let's get a little music here to help us out just a little bit. Anyway, I guess we'll move on. Let's see who all they want me to open up next. I'm waiting on. There we go.
Now the copyright strike. Copyright strike. All right.
More than likely, not a strike. It's an ID, copyright ID. I'll probably mute this little segment here, but I couldn't help it.
I don't blame you.
Yes, world made of cardboard. Hum it out loud.
Hey there, Studio. I missed you last night, but I see you came in today. Lasso me, and I promise to tell the truth. See, my phone still automatically fills Batman after the 999.
Nice.
Okay, so I guess we'll open up since Studio is my one channel subscriber, we're going to do what she wants, and we're going to open Wonder Woman up, and then we'll do Black Manta. By the way, this is not actually from the cartoon. This is somebody else's extended theme for it. So I've got the link in the description to the channel that you can go to listen to this extended Super Friends theme. And so we got the Batman. We're going to go back over here into the Batcave, and we're going to work on getting Wonder Woman out. She also has a cape. Now, I went to Michael Marquez, the Cape Master, and I bought replacement capes for Wonder Woman. So,
you should probably squash that music, Bill. We can barely hear you.
All right.
There you go.
All right, we'll turn the music off, but I couldn't help it. I just had to. You know.
Oh, it's cool. It hit the nostalgia vibe.
Oh,
I
no,
just couldn't
most
hear what
definitely.
you were saying anymore.
But anyway, going back to Wonder Woman, I got a cape replacement for her from Michael Marquez because, as you can see on the picture over here, the cape has the white and red star highlights on it that it does not on the actual figure. The Cape Master actually offers a Wonder Woman replacement cape that looks just like the picture. So
Nice.
And of course, I don't have the Tim Drake Robin yet. He should be here on Monday. I do have a replacement cape for him as well that's double-sided with black on one side and yellow on the other. I know why Todd McFarlane didn't make a double-sided cape for him. It's because he's cheap and he wants to make these toys for as little as possible. And I get it.
Quite honestly, you could have saved money on Wonder Woman with the cape because I don't
really. Yeah, she really doesn't wear a cape. That's a ceremonial cape that she wears. But once again, on the back of the package, we've got the card, the collector card that I'm.
Does she got the magic lasso? That would have made more sense.
No magic lasso, but listen, guys. I've got the magic lasso kit right over here. If anybody wants a magic lasso, hit me up, and I've got plenty of magic lasso material right here to make magic lassos. So, and if you don't want it from me, you can go to Walmart over there in the hobby section, and they sell the perfect string right over there. And it's better than what came with the vintage anyway, because the vintage was an actual piece of paper string.
I was gonna say I got mine, and I got the Toy Biz one where she.
Yeah, this is some pretty sturdy string, and it's got a little bit of ability to kind of. I don't know if it's got a wire in it or not, but you can kind of pose.
Oh, you can actually pose it.
Yeah. This is
the real question is, when she wraps it around the villain, will he have to tell the truth?
Well, we should, right?
That's right.
All right. So once again, we have a real cloth cape on here, very much reminiscent of the vintage, and it's kind of poking out this hole back here. So let's see if we can get her off the pack. There we go. We got her off. And here she is in all of her glory. Once again, we have a wider stance on the feet to make her eat, and she poses great. There's pins in the knees, and I don't know if you guys can see that or not. The original vintage figures, the pins were hidden, but who cares? I mean, it is what it is. The star is painted on her tiara. It's the same sculpt as the original figure. They just painted it up to look more vintage.
That's what I was saying. Did you get the first run of these new Todd McFarlane's when they came out?
I did, and I do have them. They're packaged up. As a matter of fact, let me go over here. I've got my boxes out. Let's grab a Wonder Woman so we can compare.
It's basically just have darker trunks and the red cape instead of the light blue.
Right.
I got it right.
And gold highlights instead of white highlights. Everything is gold. Even the stripes on her boots were gold.
Gold, yeah.
But, here we have the original vintage Wonder Woman, and
That's the best of the bunch right there.
Yeah. And so this Wonder Woman here is a lot taller than the original one. And the original one, she's even wearing high heels, and she's not. So she's standing flat-footed.
Yeah.
And she's still a great deal taller than the vintage Wonder Woman. So there's that. And we'll put her back there. Now, here's the thing. We have, from last week, we got the Invisible Jet. So I had vintage Wonder Woman riding it last week. So let's open her up and let's put new Wonder Woman in here and see how she rides in here and see if she fits in any better. So
how are the figures, or how are the vehicles made? Are they decent?
They are.
Yeah. Yet. So
we know from the past that the Batwing they screwed up on the cockpit, and they didn't make it right so that it would break when you tried to open it.
wow.
I've got one up here on top of the Batcave. We'll look at real quick and let you guys see this. This has actually been repaired. Okay, this piece of plastic here it is actually a full piece with pins on either side, molded out of that same plastic.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is that the pins will break when you pop it open and you let it just and the spring is really, really tough and hard. So when it opens too fast and too quickly, and it tends to break those pins on the Batwing. They fixed the design on the Supermobile, and I was concerned about the Invisible Jet because it's made out of clear plastic all over. So he did do a good job of fixing that and making it a lot better. So once again, I'm gentle with my toys, and I do hold my finger up when I get it. But I guess you could let it go, and it's made highly different from the other one. So, and cool, she does fit a little. The McFarlane figure does fit a little bit better there in the jet than the original one did. So she can ride in that. I'm knocking Batman over because we're fixing to open up Black Manta. This is the figure that I've been looking forward to right here, to be honest with you guys. I mean, the other figures are great. Batman, wonderful. He's going to be my new Batman from now on, and the vintage one's going to go back in his case. But Black Manta, Aquaman's always needed some kind of a villain. I'm glad that McFarlane is doing something about the villain shortage in this line. We need villains for the other heroes, not just Batman and Superman villains, right?
Right. Has Todd said that is he going to do an 89 Batman for this size?
I think there's going to be a black Batman that looks like the Estrella Batman.
Okay.
That they're going to come out with, and I will buy that. I'll tell you right now. As much as we bitch about repaints, Joneser and I'm going to buy that because that just you just got to. I mean, you got to. But
I would like to see. I mean, I know we just said we don't want to see all bunch of Superman and Batman villains, but we've yet to see Joker, Lex Luthor.
I know.
You know, I mean, getting Darkseid early was cool, but you know, I want Penguin, I want Riddler,
I want him to do Catwoman. I want him to do Catwoman.
Catwoman would be cool.
Yeah, Catwoman would be good too.
I'd like to see Sinestro.
Yes, Sinestro is much needed. But as far as Batman goes, you know, we've got Penguin and Joker already in the vintage, but you said that there's no Joker figure in the top. I beg to differ. There's the Gimp Batman figure.
He doesn't count.
But
that's
anyway,
really Bruce Wayne, if I'm being honest. That's Bruce Wayne infected with Joker and Elseworlds.
This is the figure that I've been most looking forward to. Let's check him out for a minute. He's got this little backpack on that doesn't come off, with the tubes coming out going into his head. His head articulates.
That's cool.
Looks like pretty much the same buck as like Green Lantern.
That's what I was going to say. Is it Green Lantern or was it? Yeah.
The only thing they changed was the belt here, but it's pretty much the Green Lantern sculpt or Flash sculpt. You can see the boot tops here, even though it should be solid. You can see and feel in the boot tops, and the stance is not wide. It's that where his feet are more closer together, so that it's harder for them to stand up. So, and we're looking at the size of the feet. The feet are about the same size as Batman, but there he is, and they it scales up fine. Let's see what he looks like next to a vintage Aquaman.
And are you gonna get the newer Aquaman with the long hair? I'm surprised they didn't do a Jason Momoa clone, but
yeah,
probably for likeness and
to be honest with you, I do have him on pre-order from Entertainment Earth. That's the only one that I have not gone ahead and bought from Amazon. I'll just let the Entertainment Earth pre-order come in whenever it gets here, because I don't really care too much for that sculpt on that. I think his face looks hokey. I don't like the long hair, and I don't like the colors. So,
see, and I liked the long-haired Aquaman they did in the 90s, where all the superheroes in DC had mullets, and you know, they had long-haired Superman and Clark Kent with a ponytail, and you know, like they were all that way for a little while.
But there you go. There's a vintage Aquaman with black trunks and over his tights, whereas the new McFarlane is going to be totally green all the way across, kind of like old Toy Biz figure was.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm sure you could customize it, right? You could try and paint his underwear on.
If you wanted to, I suppose. I probably won't. But anyway, the Black Manta figure scales up just fine with the vintage Aquaman, I think. What do you guys think?
Yeah, they look like
good.
Do some undersea battle right now.
Absolutely, and we'll hit the comments here. So, Studio, did they ever do Two-Face? Toy Biz did a Two-Face. That's correct, there, Joneser. And Gilster wants them to redo Cyborg. That they really should. Although I will warn you that if McFarlane redoes Cyborg, he will look more like a modern Cyborg and not like the one that we got that was Teen Titans looking.
Right.
You know, they should, because that's one of the harder figures to come by from the vintage line.
Hey, Gilster, thanks a lot, Bill. Now I got to go get a Wonder Woman and get some gold string. Yeah. How many loops is it to make one lasso? I usually do about 2 or 3 around my finger, or I'll stretch it out a little bit and see how long it'll be. Sometimes I even make a little lasso in it so that you can actually lasso somebody. And like I said, that string is posable, so you can do all kinds of stuff with it.
Yeah, you got me sold on it, man. I mean, I didn't know Walmart carried that stuff like that, so in their craft hobby section. So
Bill,
cool.
did they ever do Solomon Grundy or Gorilla Grodd in the vintage series?
Not at all. I would like to see the stuff like that done as well. I would like to see some oversized figures like King Shark.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
No, Green Hornet, Kato, and Black Beauty are not part of the DC universe. But by God, if they did a Green Hornet and Kato in this size, like long box heroes and stuff like that, I would probably buy them in a heartbeat. Just like I did the Flash and the Green Lantern that came out from was it Fresh Monkey or whoever did that?
Mm-hmm.
Drew G. Green Hornet would be cool.
Yeah. Hey, Drew.
Boba Hicks says, if the Bat wants to play, we'll play. All right, man. But there we go. We've got the toys open and kind of got them out there for everybody to kind of take a look at. And we can see Wonder Woman there riding there in the invisible jet. And
That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. And of course the invisible jet has the capture claw with the I guess that's supposed to be like the golden lasso string there that you can pull out, and when you pull it out, it kind of stays in place there, and it's got this little capture claw that you can open up, and you can capture somebody in it. I guess you can capture Black.
Now, is it fetching the price point like the vehicles are? $29, $19.99.
Yeah, that's how much it costs. All right, so when you got your villain captured, you press the tail fin here, and it makes them come.
Cool.
Check that out. So
that's cool.
That's kind of neat. And it's got a little recess here in it. Let me get Black Manta out of it and put him back over here. If you guys can see this, there's a little place for it to go right there, and you just kind of snap it back into place, and it just stays there. And it's got a little knob sitting out here on the back because he knows that when she lands it, it's got to sit on the ground and not teeter backwards. So he put that little knob back there on the back so that it would you see it back there on the back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't lean.
Yeah, so it sits up like it's supposed to. So that's kind of neat.
Really digging that Batman.
That's cool.
Really digging that Batman.
Yeah, Batman is absolutely the bees knees, guys. I'm probably, like I said, I'm going to probably replace him with and take the old vintage one and put him where he belongs in a box or in a case with the rest of the figures. So
sure.
Well, and I'll probably take my Hush Batman and throw him away and put that one out.
You bring that up. After I opened that up, even after I replaced his cape, that piece of ribbon thing, whatever, with a hole in it, and I didn't want to play with that. I'm sorry, McFarlane. Nobody liked that figure for some reason.
Well, see, the Superman one, at least it hit that nostalgia vibe for me. It looked like the Superman one I had when I was a kid and I spent many hours with. The Batman one, to me, just looked like it didn't belong there. Like the alien.
His face looked funny to me. His jawline wasn't right. At least he got this Batman right. He's got that superpowers lantern jaw. Right. And like you guys were saying, that black accent on the front of his mask just really brings the figure out. And
it does.
And I don't know if you noticed it or not. See if y'all can see it on this camera here. Let me bring myself up big once again so you can see. But on this camera here, well, there we go. If we bring him up close enough, his eyebrows are actually painted.
Oh, yeah.
I see that. Yeah, it's got kind of a Adam West kind of vibe to it.
Yeah.
I kind of dug that,
That is cool. Yeah, I guess for me, like I was really excited about this Superpowers McFarlane re-release, and when they first came out, I had the bug again, and I was going to the Walmarts and trying to get them first, and I was driving around, and then it really kind of just once I saw the hole in the cape and how they peg warmed, and then it just
didn't take off.
It sucked all the enjoyment out of it for me in a way, and then like. I still want to see certain characters that I doubt we're going to get, you know, like it would be neat to see Catwoman. It would be neat to see like Batgirl or Supergirl.
Oh, yeah.
It would be, I want to see Joker, even though, you know, everybody's like, oh, I'm glad they didn't do Joker. That would be predictable. I want to see Joker. I want to see Lex Luthor. Yeah. I want to see, you know, even some of the ones we didn't get.
I would like to see not the Lex Luthor that we got in the vintage line, but I would like to see a Lex Luthor that looks more like the post-crisis Lex Luthor, and not one that hits himself in the head every time you do it.
I've got that. That's the Lex Luthor I have, the Toy Biz one that punches himself in the face.
and yes, Studio, I do have your 2 entries. They did go through. So yeah, you entered both contests. You entered for King.
There we go. You want that one?
I like that one actually. I have the one with the purple suit.
Yeah, we like that one.
Yeah, that's the one I would want. The one with the purple suit, the black pants that I have that punches himself.
Yeah, the Toy Biz version with he punches himself in the head with his kryptonite ring. Yeah.
I'd like that one, but I'd like to see him redo it so he's not doing that, right?
That's what,
if they can do that. If they can do that, that'd be awesome.
Gilster wants to know if that Batman is available at Walmart right now. At certain Walmarts, I bet Bjorn Jorgensen Walmart's got it. It has all the
find it at mine, and you can't
not at mine.
Online.
Mine's clogged up with first wave and what's left of the first wave and that second wave and all those Supermobiles and Batwings that never sold.
Yeah,
they finally cleared all them out of there with mine. There was 5 or 6 pegs full. Now there's 1, and they've got the vehicles still there, but they're moving that along.
And Will McLaughlin has joined us today. Yes, good to see you there, Wilhelm Toy and Hobby.
Hey, Wilhelm.
And Drew G is with us as well. Walmart Cardboard says, sorry, missed your live stream last time. I was looking forward to it, but I missed it due to life getting in my way. And that's what life does. It does that kind of stuff to us.
Bill, speaking of life and getting in the way, I'm going to have to duck out. It's my kid's birthday party today. I got
well, it's a 2-hour mark. We're getting ready to end it anyway. Neil, if you want to stick around a minute after the show's over, we can talk a little bit before we leave.
Sure.
But I want to say goodbye to the chat here real quick. And I would like to see Bill do a Alfred custom video. The problem with that is I've already made my Alfred figure, and getting that Joker head off is a pain in the ass. And did I ruin a Joker figure trying to do that? Yes, I already ruined a Joker figure doing that. The neck peg is weird looking. I think I'll show that at some point in the future, what that neck peg looks like. I've got a Joker with the head popped off, and you can see it's weird. And getting it off is a hell of a thing. And I warn you guys on that. My Alfred, I went ahead and drilled the neck peg out and put a piece of a wood peg in there and pegged his head down with a piece of wood. It wasn't worth it to me.
Well, I got to roll, folks. You guys take care. It was good to see you. I'll be checking out your content on your channel there. So I'll comment as I go.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, Jones. It was nice meeting you, man. You got a cool collection there behind you. So glad we got to meet. So
appreciate you, sir. We'll catch up again some other time. See you, Bill.
Sure.
All right. Take care, Jones. I'm glad you could be here with me today. And so now that we're here together, I'm going to do what's called feeding the ducks. And if you can hear that little slow jam going in the background, that is the music called Feeding the Ducks. It comes in StreamYard here. And we're going to say good journey to everybody here in the chat. Glad you guys could join us. It's been a great day. Neil, I'm glad you could be here today with us and plug your channel and get a chance to meet you and find out more about you. And if you want to go to Neil's channel, it's Yesterland Toys at Yesterland Toys here on YouTube. go subscribe to him. Go view all of his content. He has a Patreon. I joined his Patreon this morning. It's only $1, and I know what he's doing with that $1. He's putting it right back into his channel.
Yeah.
And I want you guys to go support him as much as you possibly can. And that's what we're all about here on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. And until next time, good journey, everyone.
Yeah.
Special thanks to the channel supporters. Without your help, these adventures would not be possible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's adventure, please hit like, subscribe, and share the video.